Welcome back to the Heartland Arms podcast, your number one source for education and firearm training. Today, we are going to tackle myths. So, we've all seen the movies. We've all seen where they don't seem to ever really need to reload. Um, it seems like just about everybody is just a expert shot all the time. So we're going to kind of go through some myths versus what really happened. So gun myths versus reality. And we're going to cover a lot of different movies, some old, some new. So we're going to go through it here. So, um, and really, if these and all training, I got a new training one too, new revolver looking one. I wanted a Dirty Harry gun, inspired by the movie. So, no, we're gonna go through if guns really worked like they did in the movies, um, guns would really be dangerous. So there's a lot of misnomers when it goes to movie myths versus reality. So I think we're gonna start off right from the start, and we're gonna go myth. Anybody could pick up a gun and just be an expert shot. Um, I'm gonna tell you, this is going to be even going all the way back to Star Wars. Um, Leia was able to pick up a gun or a laser shooter in their time frame and just be able to shoot better than anybody else. Better than the stormtroopers who probably took practice. Um, that happens. It also, I think there was one with Angelina Jolie where they used to like try to, they'd get it and they do this to twist bullets around corners. Um, a spoiler, that doesn't work. But the guy that she was teaching seemed to really be able to pick up a gun naturally and just be able to shoot. Um, there's a lot of movies that portray that anybody could just grab a gun, hit the target all the time, never have any issues. And the reality when it comes to this is if you want to get accurate with a firearm, if you want to be able to hit your targets, you have to train with it, you have to practice with it. And that means it's the gun that you're going to be shooting that you have to get practice with. So, for example, this is my Beretta 9mm plastic rubber. This was a real gun, I would be able to shoot this, and if I practice with this, I'm good. And then I switch to another firearm, it's going to shoot differently. Am I going to be pretty close on this? Yes, especially because I've trained on targets. But the first few shots are going to be okay, where do I need to adjust with this particular firearm? Where do I need to go from there? And then I go to my third one. Okay, this one shoots different. One might shoot a little high, one might be a little low and to the left. Each one shoots a little bit differently. And we'll go to the table because these are my new ones here. So this is the one I always train with. This is our BB pellet airsoft. That's the airsoft actually. See, airsoft works there. And then of course I got my new revolver. Just picked it up. Nice little toy to do. So you're not accurate unless you practice. Okay. Now, also the big thing is if you move a gun in the movies or moving them around, they make a lot of noise. There's so much noise that they say they want with guns when they want it. And the reality is if you're not operating any of the mechanics, it's not going to make any noise. Now, if there's no other noise, there's no ambient noise around you, yes, that seems pretty loud. But generally, racking a gun doesn't make, you can't hear someone in the bedroom, someone's in the living room watching TV. Someone's in the bedroom, they rack a gun, and the whole house hears it. It's not like that. It's like, oh crap, they got a gun, and everybody gets their guns in the movies, and it's the movies are The movies make guns seem a lot more scarier than they are. Um, a well-maintained firearms are really pretty quiet until they're shot. Now, shotguns do have a noise. If there's no other noise going on, you could probably hear that, like 2 a.m. Yeah, you're going to hear that, especially if there's nothing else going on in the house. But just racking a firearm, it's not going to alert the whole area. So keep that in mind too. Another movie myth, one that I really, really don't like. The bigger the gun, the better it is. And that's just not the case. Um, it's really not a conversation about being better. It's what's better for you. Some people like 380s. Some people like 9 millimeters, 45, 44 Magnum, 357. There's all kinds that you can get. It's what you're comfortable getting, what fits your hand. That's one of the biggest things. I'd say whatever fits your hand is what you really want to work on. That should be the best, because if it doesn't fit your hand, it's not a good fit. So if a big firearm doesn't fit your hand, not going to work. If it's a big gun, you might not be able to conceal carry it. You know, and just looking at the size differences between these two, I mean, that's huge. That's a huge difference, right? Let's go to overhead. Yeah, look at how the difference is there. So when I compare these two side by side, yeah, there's a big difference there. So, necessarily bigger isn't always better. It's what you're using it for and how you're using it. You just don't think, oh, I need the biggest gun possible. Then you have internet misinformation, some gear. And in the movies, guns are noisy until they are not. And this is where you introduce suppressors. If I put a suppressor in here, that's a silencer, and now that gun won't make any noise. So if I'm John Wick running around a crowded dance, hall, or in a big room, I could do this and shoot without anybody hearing it. The person right next to me doesn't even realize I even shot a firearm. And then they could all of a sudden, now the racking is quiet. Now everything for that gun is, you put a suppressor in it, that suppressor makes everything quiet on the gun. Everything goes silent. And that's not the case. That's silencers, and we covered this. We went over silencers. They really lower the decibel of the firearm, but you still have to wear ear protection. The reason you still have to wear ear protection is because it's still loud. You're just getting it down to a point where you're not going to get permanent hearing loss if you're running suppressors on a firearm. And I don't like calling them silencers. That's not what they are. Now, if you put a suppressor on a 22, is that going to make it sound really quiet? Well, yeah, 22 is not very loud. So if you get a really good can on that, yeah, you could make a 22 almost quiet enough to shoot if there's loud music going on. But it's just normally not the case. And the other thing, and it's the one thing that I noticed, that the Wick, the John Wick series, showed a lot and did a lot better than some of the older movies. I remember watching westerns and they're having a shootout and bam, 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 and I'm counting the rounds. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, I'm out. Let me switch guns to another one. Most revolvers shoot 6 shots. Reloading, they don't like to do it on TV because it does take time. They don't like to show them dropping the mag, putting it in. because to be quite honest, most actors don't know how to do it. They're not gun people, so they're like, oh, I just use this and it's a prop. I'm using this prop in a gun and I'll just shoot it and they'll yell cut and I'm done. That's where John Wick did a little different, and I have to give him kudos and a good shout out for that, because they showed him shooting and reloading, and that's because Keanu Reeves does a very good job of accurately portraying what that was like, the reloading and that kind of stuff. They took a lot with the silencers and the things that they were using, and they were so accurate. I mean, none of them none of them missed unless they had to miss. So they're only missing because the script told them to. If the script said they had to hit, they're gonna hit. Just the way it is. And he could shoot behind him like this. He could do this. He could have the gun like this and shoot it. He could do all kinds of stuff, and he never missed. I know this person's behind this wall. I think he's here. I'm gonna shoot. Great, I hit him. Perfect. Don't like that, because that's not how guns work. In fact, if you don't have a clear target, never shoot through a wall to try to hit somebody. That's a big no-no, because you can't identify what your target is. Hate that. So, some of the other things that I've noticed too is, with reloading, it does take time and awareness. You have to, when you're here, I'm gonna hold my hand like this. I know how this ejects, so I'm gonna anticipate being able to grab that. That's because I've trained, I've practiced. I know how to do that. Especially with this one, because it's kind of small. It's kind of long and lanky, but generally I have my hand here and I pull like that. Or if you're in a bad situation, it's going to drop and it's going to drop. You're not even going to try and catch it if you're actually in a situation where you need to drop it and reload. And I would recommend practicing with, of course, empty magazines. Lay them out. Have a bunch of empty magazines out. Practice dropping that, reloading. Because I'm going to do this, we're going to see how this works. I'm going to close my eyes. I can do that because I've done it enough times. I've unloaded and loaded guns enough times that I can do that. I can close my eyes, see, and I could stumble a little bit, but I have a relative idea of where my fingers are, where this hand is, and I can load it. Unless you've practiced that, you're not going to be able to do it like they do in the movies, even when they do finally reload. Okay? There's also the biggest thing that I don't like that they do is, I don't like that they have just guns are all over the place. And that's just not a reality. Not everybody has a firearm that they have access to that they're going to be able to shoot. There's a lot of people with concealed carry weapons, and you know what? As long as they're trained and they do what they're supposed to do, I welcome that. And I'm okay with open carry. I can get a good idea if I look at some guy and he has it in a belt and there's no holster. That's sketchy to me. But if I walk by a guy and I see a retention holster, he has it on his side, and it's pretty locked up, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I mean, yeah, chances are he's not really up to anything bad. Because if he was, he'd probably try and hide it. You'd also tell just by people's demeanor, the way they act, the way they carry themselves, if they're up to no good or not. There's warning signs is what I'm saying. So the movies don't always get it right. Keep that in mind. So I would recommend educating yourself on myths versus reality, what guns really can do, and don't listen to your media, politicians, or the movies. I would go to a good source like a certified firearms trainer. The manufacturer's website's a good place. Local ranges, safety courses, they're going to get you the right information that you'll need to to understand what the reality is for guns. So my channel is really hard to get things going because we are a gun channel. We're a gun tube. So make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. It is very hard to get it out there. So hope you like what we have. Hope to see you on the next episode. Shoot straight.